What's up, guys, and welcome back to another replay cast. Today's game is between Soma and Best. So this is a nice recent game for you. Show match, you can see by the VIP observers, we've got Rush, we've got BTS, Flash himself is watching, and Jaedong. So definitely a game probably from Pro League or at least on the players' streams. So you can almost guarantee that the quality is going to be superb, and I'm very much looking forward to bringing you today's game. I'm just trying to think, when last have I actually done a Soma game? It's definitely been a bit of a while, and maybe not somebody that I have a lot of games on, to be honest. So I'm really looking forward to covering some more of his games. I think if anyone has been following ASL 21, Soma's looking like he's going to have another good run, and obviously he's the defending champion, and considered by many to be the best Zerg player in the world, although with Jaedong's resurgence, I guess he will definitely be challenged for that mantle. And we're on Metropolis today. You can see we have changed our overlay, got rid of the white, probably something that's been long overdue. I've actually wanted to do it for a while. And then I got a comment on one of my videos where somebody was just complaining about the size of the logo and the white. And you know, sometimes like if you yourself have an issue with something, and you're like, oh, I'll change it eventually, I'll change it eventually. It just takes like one last nudge from someone else. and then you're like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Also getting some comments to not be doing so much speculating and to actually just call the game as it is. Look, I have my casting style. I will take on board what people say, but I am me. I'm also not here to try and please everybody. I generally take like consensus comments on board. So in other words, when people are saying certain things a lot, then absolutely I change it. But you know what I mean? Like if you get into this, any kind of YouTube, right? Not even just Broodwar, but any kind of YouTube. If you're going to try and please everyone, what's going to happen is you're going to please no one. So I've learned that lesson in life, and I've learned that lesson in Broodwar. So absolutely no concerns on that front. This is a weird kind of wall in here. I mean, it looks like it's going to get the job done, but it's a tad unconventional from Best. By the way, guys, thank you so much for all the subs and support. We have really received a wonderful surge in viewership. I have also recently started a Discord server. I've put in a lot of thought and effort in how I can create a server that's unique in the Broodwar context and can add value to viewers and anybody who joins. So if you are interested in hanging out with me, discussing games, just getting to know me a little more, or just hanging out with other Broodwar people, it is brand new. There's not a lot of members there currently. But if you guys do join up and come say hi, I'd really appreciate it. I check it there every day. My new releases are also dropped there. I drop all the replays of the games that I cast in the Discord as well for you. So that's all available free, and there's also some sort of paid perks that you can look into, which is connect to channel memberships. Only if you guys are interested. For me, like I've said many times, this for me is still just fun. But I did take some time to think about how I can switch on memberships and make it useful. If you just want to support me and make me smile, all you really need to actually do is just hit the like button, and I will be absolutely over the moon with that. And if you subscribe, then you've just made my day times a million. So we're sending our first zealot across. I must remember to tell you guys how angry I made a guy named Tim, because I didn't realize that these are stacked minerals like you have on fastest map ever. Now I totally understand it. It makes a whole heap of sense, but my God, was he upset, bro. Like he chased me down. He seeked me out on Discord. He commented 100 times on the video. He was mad, dude. Like his life had been so horribly impacted because how can a guy casting Broodwar make a mistake? I mean, it's just not done. Anyway, we're coming in with a little bit of zealot harassment here off of our off of our Forge Expand. Nice little bit of drone drilling there from Soma. I think he handled that pretty well. By the way, it looks like 3 Hatch Hydra is actually just dead. Like it's just not being done anymore. So we're seeing Link Speed, we're seeing Mutus, and Pratosses are just going Stargate, and that whole meta is just like super normalizing. We're also harassing here again is Best. Best, hey. Like, just somebody who online seems to be unbelievably good. And when the pressure is on and needs to produce on stage, like in the tournament, he just seems to choke, man. It's just a real pity. I think I got a very smart comment from one of my viewers saying, you know, should temperament coaching, like mindset, sports mindset, performance mindset coaching, should that be something that these Korean guys that are, you know, playing these games professionally, should they not be getting that to help them with coping with pressure on stage? And would that not make a big difference? I think it was a great point that he made. You know, maybe not. I think it could definitely benefit someone like Best, possibly someone like Lights, just the guys that when you watch them play on stream like this and you see how good they are because they're playing online basically, you're kind of like, well, why can't you replicate your level of skill when you're playing on a big stage, you know? And it's usually because the pressure, it's a bit much to deal with, isn't it? So we're gonna get ourselves an Overlord. This has been an incredibly standard opening, by the way. It's been Lair against Corsair, Spire, Scourge, Speedling, Zealots, Zealot legs on the way, +1 air on the way, +1 ground on the way. So it looks like we'll be doing a little, possibly a 7:30 timing against what it looks like is going to be a 6-hatch Hydra build from Soma. He does like to mix in Mutas into the mid game to pick off High Templars, which is always something to look out for. And I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing if he does it today, only because it's become, I don't say less popular, but ever since I've started saying Zergs always do it, they just haven't been doing it. I'd love to know from any of the Zerg players, is there a reason why it's stopped? Like this idea of making, you know, 10 Mutas mid-game to try and pick off 3 or 4 High Templars and then go mass Hydra had become massively popularized, and I've seen games since my return to Broodwar where it has happened, but it's kind of like hit and miss, intermittent. And I was pretty much convinced that it was going to become kind of embedded into the meta for this match, but it really hasn't. It's just kind of every now and again. DT on the way in his orange cape, whooshing along. We'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, we're just trying to poke in and get a bit of damage here with our mutas. Best does have a cannon in his mineral line. Another one here. Kind of a strange placement. Another one here. That should be good. What damage, if any, is our DT going to get done? Third base does have an Overlord, but nothing else actually here. So he's got himself 3, 4 drones, and he just took a few hits from the Sunken and disappeared. So that's pretty good value if you're a Best fan. And I think that's going to be it. I don't think he's going to be able to sustain too many more hits from that Sunken. Let's pick up a Ling. I'm sorry, I'm just chuckling randomly, but I've got the microphone on very, very low gain, quite close to my face, just to reduce the echo and try and improve the audio a bit. Every time I turn my head, I like hit my earphone on the side of the mic boom arm. It's like so annoying. I also hope you can't hear it, but anyway, here we go. So this DT is now on 6 kills. He's finding time to micro him all along, but we're actually just following the adventures of Daryl the Dark Templar as opposed to anything else. We're now moving into this phase of the game where we've got Storm. We're waiting for Soma to start mass up Hydras. He's got some lurker. He's got lurker aspect on the way, so he can also make lurkers. He doesn't look like he is going to swell up for a timing, but I think he is definitely going to plan what I call a denial attack. So positioning a whole bunch of units to make the expansion of a third base for Protoss pretty hard. Look, the Corsair commitment from Best is real, but to be fair, the commitment to Mutas from Soma is as well. So we've got our +1 Corsairs in play. They're doing all the fun things. Okay, so the speed lots are up and about. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of posturing around. The same DT, Daryl, still working hard. And now, this is what I call denialistic, right? So, just in case Best has not got his robo, which we can see he doesn't actually have it. Unless I'm blind. Still poking around here. He's going to just start whacking away at this. There's no robo, right? I'm not blind. So what you're going to do now, Best? So this is just really painful, right? Now makes his robo at 11 minutes. That is just... that's bad. That's bad. For a player of his level, missing your robo timing. Your robo timing in almost all build orders, by the way, is 8 minutes and 30 seconds. So to say this is a miss... I mean, if you're going to delay it to 9.5 minutes because your opponent's got muters and he's taking a bit of time to transition into lurkers, fine. But this is just like torching units. Does get the Evo chamber. Might even get the hatchery, yeah. Does get the hatchery. So I suppose a reasonable amount of damage just based on the fact that he's made a lot of units, but he's behind in supply, right? So Soma is getting into like an incredibly scary position here. He could go up to a 4th base pretty soon. All the while, Best still remains in a position where Larry the Lurker is going to deny his 3rd base. So our robo has arrived. Our shuttle. We're making a shuttle and a 2nd forge. I guess we're going to go double upgrades. Interesting. We're also just leaving our zealots here to have a little holiday, to think about what they've done, and for self-improvement or something. Who knows? So we are 1-1 on our ground army. We are, by the way, sticking with the panel up until practical reasons dictate that we need to remove it. So, by the way, if you guys ever get a replay that you're wanting to watch, and you have all these observers, and you're like, I don't really want to see all these observers right now, you just hit E and it disappears. And if you don't want to see this panel, you just hit W and it disappears and comes back. So it's very easy to toggle between, you know, these things on and off. There's probably also a button to take the mini-map away. I've just been too lazy to learn it. It would actually have come in handy from time to time. Our courses are still around. Picking off the odd Scourge, the odd Muta. It's a strange sort of phase of the game. But Bess is definitely on a clock here to get his 3rd base up and running. Observer is in the game. Lots of links from Soma. Still being a pest. This DT drop is so prepared for. Oh, I was going to say it's so prepared for. Where's the Overlord? There we go. Okay. We also have Hive already. So Soma's going to have Defilers. He's going to have a whole heap of other tech available. Did we drop and then just change our minds? Yeah, we did. I do like this from play from Best, not maybe as a mechanism to do a whole heap of damage, but what I call distraction damage. So distracting his opponent gives him time to sort of quite freely get the space up, which is very handy dandy. These zealots, by the way, are still in timeout, which is hilarious. I wonder if Best is going to involve them in the siege on the space, which has got quite a scary amount of lurkers and a nice lurker spread. So it's going to be difficult to break here, but Best is just about maxed out. So he's got to start trading units. He's got to start throwing down some storms. The timeout zealots are also now reactivated. Getting up here, bro, with pathing. Oh my god, Broodwar. That'll be fun. A couple of cannons coming up. There's no observer here, so lurkers could be painful. Nonetheless, our timeout zealots are having a little Barney against the Lings. I think the Lings have got Adrenal already based on the attack speed. I could actually be wrong about that. No, I don't think they have Adrenal yet. We'll keep an eye on that. But because Soma has Hive Tech, Nidus will be very powerful, reinforcing these lower expansions. We can actually hear the Nidus working right now. There it is. And then he's just getting consumed for his Defilers. Making a couple of defilers now. Also getting missile attacks, so just wanting to continuously... Actually, a triple evo, so melee and missile. When our best decides, let's move in here and have some juicy fights. But immediately our Dark Swarm is slowing down and neutralizing the impact of Dragoons especially. So Dragoons go from being the most valuable unit in the mid game just because they tank so much and they kill the lurkers, they help you break through and penetrate, take bases if you're a Protoss, to becoming somewhat useless as soon as the units can burrow under Dark Swarm. And that's where a lot of Ling play can also be very effective. So a 2-2 ground is pretty strong against, for example, 1-1 missile and 1-1 melee, which is what Soma's got at the moment. But I think he's getting himself triple evo, so he should be catching up quite aggressively too. He's going to plague as well, so definitely the defilers are going to be a central part of his strategy to complete this game, no doubt about that. Our third's up and running, going strong, and our fourth as well. I don't know if I was a potato and I missed this fourth being established potentially before the third. I don't think that's the case. I think when he was pressuring this base up here, he took that fourth base, and now it's just continuously moving around the map, trying to find an opening and a place to trade optimally, which is difficult on these little terrains and ramps and undulations. What you ideally want to do is you want to fight Zerg in the middle of the map, and have like sort of draw Zerg out. But at the same token, you can't do that exclusively if you're Protoss, because it's just too many bases. So best plan seems to just be a base explosion strategy. I think it's going to work for him pretty well. Some nice trades and exchanges here between both players. 171 plays 161. The game is very nicely poised because we've got a 4-basing Protoss against a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-basing Zerg. So on the economics of it, Protoss is in a really strong spot. But there's probably nothing really limiting Soma from taking another base to kind of pull ahead, or at the very least get equal from an economic point of view. Upgrade edge is currently still with Protoss. But now we're even equal on upgrades, and the differentiators are definitely going to be Dark Swarm, because obviously your shields and all your upgrades become somewhat useless if your units are plagued. I do feel this is probably Soma's best match of the three. His Zerg versus Protoss is very strong. I'm planning to sort of bring a bigger sample of his games to the channel in general, just to try and form a view on where his strengths might or might not be. He's going to be giving this base a bit of grief, that's for sure. So I think Archons are going to be the name of the game. We haven't seen much by way of Storms in this game yet. I mean, I'm sure they have been. We just haven't seen very many. There we go, as we say it. A couple more coming out. And really targeting down the High Templars. There's about 4 with this army, and a DT as well. That's not the original Daryl. I think that's a different DT. Big swallow units down here from Soma. He is ahead in supply now for the moment. When you're both pretty close to maxed out, it doesn't matter that much. Although, having played this game a little bit in my life, one of the scariest things ever is to try and fight a fully maxed out Zerg. It's just there's so many units, just in terms of like sheer quantity. To thin the numbers and to keep your composure can always be a bit difficult. Jesus, the storm's here suddenly. So famous last word saying they're not much by way of storms. There's a fair few going on here, that's for sure. It's been a fun game. 2-2 in the house. Let's go. Is it possible to beat a Zerg when they get up to Hive Tech and they've got the base count? I just feel like they're in a position to like really wear Protoss down. 3-2 now on the upgrades. Now I'm not saying base is out of the game. I'm just saying it's a very hard prospect as a Protoss to play against Hive Tech Zerg, right? And you see new tech like Reavers and stuff like that. I'm just looking. He's getting shuttles here. And wants to do a drop, so we're gonna have to multitask because he's challenging this base and he's got DTs and a few things holding him here. Has seemed to have fended that off. And here we go. We're going to fly in, and there's probably 15 or so drones here. He does have overlords and pulls the drones pretty fast. He's going to get a fair amount of his tech. So affronting him on 2 spots here, also taking on this mid-left position. Soma's actually in the position of repositioning units as opposed to fighting this. So we're just going to see how much more damage he's getting. He killed the pool. And by the looks of things, he might even get the hive and the defiler mount, which could really slow Soma down. There's a central fight happening here as well. No Dark Swarm being used here, so the goons are really able to use their full power. This is unbelievable that this is going to go down. What a brilliant drop from Best. It's gotten so much damage done here. Finally sending some Hydras to tidy this up. Meanwhile, trying to affront this top right position with predominantly Dark Swarm and Lings. Cannons are not going to do shit here, and now he should... Yeah, he's definitely got the adrenal upgrade now. You can see by the speed upgrade of that, or the speed of that attack. So he's going to have to remake his technology. That's going to be painful. No spawning pool means nothing, basically. He can make Hydras because the Hydra Den itself wasn't killed. Looks like he's going to lose this base. Counter trades on this side are predominantly just small skirmishes of retreating units. As I mentioned earlier, Zerg, when Zerg goes hive tech and your Protoss and you're getting into sort of deep late game, which looks like where this game is going, Reavers kind of become the only viable option to thin the numbers. We spotted another drop here in the bottom left. It's a storm drop this time. And oh my god, he's got himself smoking a number of drones. And this is definitely turning into a somewhat cracking game, guys. There's no doubt about that. Soma and Best are 2 of the very top players in this game, and they've got lots of really good players watching them, so they are playing out of their socks. Another big fight here. Zealots on the front line, Storms clearing the lurker lines, just sending endless waves of Lings, sending some units around to try and intercept the units as they come up the ramp, just so that it isn't a single point of attack to thin the numbers. I think Best is actually going to sack this base and pursue a counter attack. Oh my god, that storm. We caught the back end of it, but it got at least 10 or so Hydras. More crazy storms going on here in the middle of the map. Very hard to keep up with what's going on in this game because it's literally all happening all at the same time. We're just watching it, and it's difficult to keep up with everything. Can you imagine if you were actually playing? It kind of blows the mind. So predominantly, well, pretty much no units left at Best Rally. They're all kind of available to him in the middle of the map. And lurkers are here still picking off probes. 45 in total. Still 4 bases. He's lost his 5th base. And I dare say that swings the pendulum in Soma's favor. Soma hasn't lost a base. He lost a bit of tech up here, but there was no money. Didn't have much by way of hatcheries there as well. Remember, Zerg's power is hatcheries and money to sustain the hatchery count, right? So on those 2 fronts, Soma's lost nothing. He's remained as powerful, and he continues to grow very strong. He's got a lot of drones. That being said, Best still does have 168 supply, but this is getting low. This is getting a little lower as well. So I think his opportunity to power and challenge bases, he's on a little bit of a clock. Lovely plague from Soma here, and running away and not taking this fight on. So we're not calling anything yet. There is a big supply gap. It's still looking very good if you're a Best fan. My only concern for Protoss is that he's on a finite amount of resources and that he has lost his top right position. I just feel like Zerg are likely to have more resources if the game goes longer. That being said, we've got fully upgraded 322 ground units that could really just trade really well. The Mutas have entered the fray, so where I mentioned earlier that Soma likes to pick off High Templars with Mutas, he hasn't done it until pretty late on in the game, and I think it's a really good move because you notice that Best was making fewer and fewer Dragoons. All his Corsairs were dead, so any counters he has to this basically are non-existent, which last time I checked, if you're playing a game of Starcraft, if your opponent can't counter what you're doing, it's probably a good idea to do it, right? So that's what we have here. We have a shuttle. I don't know what it has in it. I think it looks like nothing. But yeah, so the goons do come and clean up. It was a pretty small number of units, but I think you got really good value for that. So I like that little pivot from Soma. It's going to move around and try and stay out of the line of fire of those lurkers. 150 plays 122. This has been an absolute cracking PvZ. Still probably one of the most fun matches. Some ribas have arrived, so we should get some scarabs. I'm looking for a juicy 1 or 2 here. That one just dudded. Oh, okay, it's a decent mix. So decides not to take the fight, although I was going to say he might carelessly lose his high Templars there, but he did micro quite well to avoid that. What is Best making? He's got 9 gateways active and he's making high Templars and Zealots. No more Dragoons. Making Reavers as well. So probably taking a more defensive line here. I think he's realized that with the time or the clock that he has, he's got to challenge bases. And I think Soma realizes that if he loses one of these 2 bases down here, that Best will probably take the game. So it is going to really come down to this fight. He did trade both Reavers there for pretty much nothing, which if you're a Best fan is obviously not optimal. There's nothing else happening here. Soma's just got to defend for his life. And the supplies are getting really, really close. 122 plays 105. But Best is getting some cut through here. The lurkers, there's only 2 left that I can see. 1 burrowed, 1 unburrowed. That is a beautiful storm, crushing a decent chunk of drones. But these lurkers are really, really, really proving painful. But there's not much resistance left. Is there anything coming through the Nidus here? The answer is a handful of Hydras at this stage, not much else. It's got more observers than you could ever possibly want in one spot here. So no chance of not being able to see any lurkers. It's going to push up the hill here. 124 plays 87. Soma's really, really fighting hard. We're also storm dropping here, which is really, really, really well responded to by Soma. The APM and the response times of these guys is just next level. How are you microing this fight, responding and pulling your workers in an instant like that? That is just insanely good play. Anyway, Best continues to push through here and is going at one hell of a clip. Another drop coming up here. I don't know what he has in the dropship. He's got more high Templars. So he's going to lose his tech again. The Defiler Mine is going to go down. Pretty much all his drones. If he can storm these retreating drones, Soma is going to be in a world of pain. Just picking them off as they go anyway. So he's got 35. I don't know where they're going to run to, but he certainly has opportunity to pick a few more off. Does storm them as they come by. Oh my god, lost 20 drones on the retreat. And this one is looking like it is going to go Best's way, guys. So as I said, he had a brief window where he kind of had to empty the clip. And we can see, right? Unemployed workers here. Unemployed workers here. Unemployed. Basically fully mined out. So he had to pretty much win it then and then only. Do maximum damage. Wreck the drones. Wreck the main bases. Wreck the main tech. And that looks like what he's managed to do. That being said, he's got 41 minerals. And Soma is, well, is he going to do another drop here? He's looking like he wants to try. Here we go. What are we doing? What are we doing? Uh-oh. Run, drones! Doesn't actually get many drones there. There are only 22 drones left, but they're pretty much all in this spot. So, Best decides, I still have 121 supply. He's mining again, by the way. It must be long distance, but that's okay. Gets the job done. Just gets a little bit of initial cut through here by storming the lurker line. And storms the drone line again. 17 drones left. What a performance by Best. I don't know if you would see him ever play at this level on an ASL stage. I don't want to be unfair on him. He's obviously had some ASLs where he's run really deep and played some unbelievable sets. I think people just get a little bit despondent that he can just never seem to get the job done, man. Anyway. It has been a wicked game. I love when a Defiler consumes an Overlord. It's just crazy. but really, really cool as well at the same time. So our long distance mining, 123 plus 45. I wonder what people like Jaedong and Flash and BTS and Rush when they're watching this. Like, I'm sure they enjoy it. I've definitely, you know what I love Jinjin is that you kind of see how these guys respond in real time. You know, how much they enjoy watching other people play, and they give a lot of insights and interesting analysis. Like, they're so smart, right? Like, they understand the game on levels that you and I could just never ever get it. So it's super insightful, and I love what Jinjin is doing for the Broodwar community. So I don't know if you've never heard of it. Jinjin basically translates commentary from the Korean pros on games that were played, and he does an amazing job with it. So if you haven't watched it, look him up, Jinjin. It's got all the translations from all the stuff that happens in big tournaments like ASL. Very much well worth a look. So we're trying to lurker drop and kill the probes. We're not throwing in the towel. I presume this must have been a significant game in either King of the Hill or some sort of competition that these guys were playing, because Soma admittedly has probably been out of it for a while. That being said, Best is down to 70 supply. This could get like an epic tag. Not that I tag games epic. That's a Falcon thing. But I mean, it's just in terms of describing a game in a word. This has just been out of this world. So finally, that pesky lurker has been eliminated. Couple of probes. He's just mining here on these stacked minerals as well. You can get 4-1 on this. That's a pretty good deal. And Soma has whittled the numbers down. Best has long distance mined to try and replenish. He's held onto this one mining base, and that has been it. Drops a couple of probes, just trying to get some more money. A couple of trades here. I think he could probably still just empty the clip, could Best. He doesn't want to blow it. So just taking his time, using a bit of composure. Has reestablished a new base here. Got all of the... obviously we know this base has been established because Soma was contending for it. This time he's got some units ready to roll. Observers ready to roll. And denies the harassment. Is going to have enough to tidy up these remaining hydras. I think this was Soma's last throw of the dice. And he throws down a storm for good measure, killing one of his own zealots with the storm. So he has picked up one of the pods of minerals. Got a couple of high templars up here, probably just to try and do some more drop harassment. The drop play from Best in this game, I think, is one of the things that won him the game. It was just absolutely next level. So wonderful game of Broodwar, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Any thoughts, feelings, comments, love to hear them from you. Please do hit a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take it easy. Bye.